Good evening, everyone. Apologies about that. That was a very slight delay on my end. I had to put up down my microphone there. But good evening, everyone. Welcome along to Premier Sim Gaming Leagues for PSF2 action. Hopefully, you can all hear me well. And I, of course, am going to be taking to the stream. As always, my name is James Head. We are here tonight, of course, for round number 3 of season 32 of PSF2 as we're taking the Dutch Grand Prix from Zandvoort at the Circuit of the Netherlands. My name is James Head, of course. I'm going to be taking to the stream, as always, of course, on this fine Monday evening. A very special Monday evening as well, from my perspective. But joining me in the commentary box, he's literally just arrived in the party after running a couple of minutes late. It is Mr. Evan Dalton. Evan, how you doing?
Hello, everybody. Look, I'm here. It's all you can ask for. I'm here on time. How are you doing, James, this evening?
I'm doing really, really well. I'm aching a bit because I've been out a little bit earlier on. But yeah, I'm doing good and only quarter of a century old today.
Yeah, James is an old man now, folks. Please wish James a happy birthday in the stream chat. It is his birthday, and you are 25, I
Yes.
believe. Okay, I thought 26. I did say on Twitter you were 9 years old. I mean, you're only 8, so well done there. But yeah, on to PSGL tonight, folks. We're here around Zandvoort. It should be an interesting race. Zandvoort's a track I like. I drove it last night, have a little bit of knowledge around it to give you an insight, folks, and it should be a great race.
It should be a great race indeed. If people are wondering where these headphones have came from, by the way, it's a brand new headset that I got for my birthday as well. So sponsoring literally the newcomers here tonight in terms of the action, in terms of what we're going to be seeing, of course, in just a couple of minutes' time because we've got 18 drivers currently in the lobby. However, some of you may have been seeing on Twitter and on social media that this week, and indeed today, is the... Oh, as Evan has just dropped out. This week and today, in fact, is the 1 year anniversary of Sir Frank Williams sadly passing away, of course, a legend of our motorsport, a legend of Formula One. He, of course, brought up in the Williams family. The Williams family, I'm sure, are going to be missing him so much today. But Sir Frank Williams was an absolute icon, an absolute legend in motorsport. He will sorely be missed. And as I say, it's 1 year since he sadly passed away. This time last year, I know I was doing a stream and I saw his sad passing, and I think it was just a real shock to me. It still is to this day. And it's unfortunate for me to having to share an anniversary like this. But Sir Frank Williams always going to be an absolute legend, an absolute icon in the motorsport. And he, of course, will sorely be missed by everyone who knew him and everyone who, of course, drove for him, like Nigel Mansell there in the photo. And Sir Frank Williams, an absolute legend of our motorsport, died, of course, 1 year ago today. And we can now run you through, of course, the driver standings coming into tonight. And, of course, Steph finished second last week. He still holds the lead in the championship on 28 points. Ari's in second on 18 points, not on 10 points. Schumacher there in third on 16. And he was the one, Evan, that did take the win, of course, last night, as Evan has just dropped out once again. I'm not sure if he's having a few connection issues here tonight. Dino there in fourth on 15. We'll run you through the rest of the standings now, with Nuth in fifth, Mitchie in sixth on 10, Stefano in seventh on 8, Noah in eighth on 6, along with Namsko, and then Ryman there in the top 10 on 4. Devon also on 4 with Volakongan on 3. Ron, Axie, and Yusbran are the only other point scorers so far this season, filling out the top 15 out on track. And speaking of out on track, because we're a little bit delayed, we are going to take you through the track map in question as we load into the lobby on the left-hand side. 4.2 kilometres and then 2.6 miles. 14 turns, of course, away to now with drivers out on track. 2 DRS zones. One down the start finish straight in towards Tarzan, and then one in towards turn number 11 at the Audi S box. And hopefully, Evan, you are with me once again. 4.2 kilometres, and then this circuit will really test the limit, I'm sure, of our drivers tonight. If Evan is here. Evan might not be here. I don't know what's going on here tonight. Is he still here? Apparently Evan can't even hear me. So Evan can't even hear me. That's not good. I'll tell you what we'll do, because I can still commentate through OBS. I will bring up the lobby at the minute, because everyone's just loading in at this strain. I am going to literally pop out of the Discord and pop back in, and hopefully, like magic, he will be all fine. Mr. Evan Dalton, I'm back with you. Are you back with me? No, he's not. He can't hear me at all. So, sadly, Mr. Evan Dalton is having a few technical issues. But what we can say with an absolute guarantee is, of course, we have got a full grid here tonight and a beautiful blue sky and sunshine, of course, here at the Circuit Zandvoort. Famous, of course, being close to the sandy beaches, being also close to the only nudist beach in the Netherlands as well. David Coulthard famously making that picture very, very common when he came here, of course, in 2021. Need I remind you, probably not on this stream, but there we are. Just reminded you, and you will not get that image out of your head anytime soon, as the 20 drivers are now beginning to filter out on track. We are good to go for the racing here. And the first man out on track, I believe, is going to be Axie. Yeah, Axie is the first man out on track. The FER man coming through the right-hand of turn number 2, in towards banking, of course, at turn number 3 at Hugenholt. As Axie now comes through turn number 3. Oh, big snap of oversteer off the banking there for Axie. Doesn't want to be doing that on the formation lap, but Axie there is the first man out on track, and he'll be hoping, of course, for a very good lap time, of course, being set by the Dane, of course, part of the FBR team as well, in the Ferrari, currently, of course, in the championship standings as well. He's well up there within the standings, and actually will be hoping for a very good competitive result here tonight in Zandvoort at, of course, the Bank Circuit. The first Grand Prix, of course, held since 1980, which was the last ever Grand Prix that was held around here before, of course, they changed the banking, before, of course, they changed a lot of the track as well, and that was the first Grand Prix, of course, held in 2021. Was due to be 2020, but of course, with the COVID pandemic, we are coming here for the first time in season 32, and the only time, in fact, in season 32, as actually now comes round the right-hander of Arie Lundijk. Arie Lundijk box to you Dutchies in the chat, actually on the run down in towards turn number 1. We'll turn the time off on the left-hand side just to get Axie's full run in towards turn number 1. Down in towards Tarzan, through turn number 1, and then through the left-hander of turn number 2, through the right-hander of turn number 3, now in towards backing of Hugenholz at turn number 4. He comes out of Hugenholz very nicely indeed, as now actually runs all the way up towards my favourite pronounced corner on this circuit, Steigflat, which of course is Skyline, pronounced in Dutch. 24.7 in the first second from Axie, right curb just nicely there, coming through turn number 7, and then in towards Masters Box at turn number 8, and then into the right-hander of turn number 9 at Renault, before we go through turn number 10 at Vodafone. Yes, there are a few sponsor corners on this track, but actually making sure that this is a very good lap from him. He now comes through down in towards Audi S chicane, turns 11 and 12, 49.5 in that middle sector from Axie as he comes through turn 11, through the left-hander turn number 12, just rode the curb there a little bit too much. It just put the force of gravity basically on the rear of the car and really absolutely blistered through that corner. Axie now through 13, in towards Arie Lundijk at turn 14. This has looked like a very good lap so far from Axie. Expect lap times to be in around the 109s, I think, towards the end of this session. Axie comes to the line with a 110.9 to start off the night. Mr. Evan Dalton, are you back with me for the third time?
Is this working? Can you hear me?
It is. I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. I'd love to have an answer on what's just happened. I think Discord has just completely recognised my microphone as a new device. I've managed to fix it, but we're here and we're into qualifying. So I'll hand it back over to you.
Yeah, Nuth is coming through the right-hand return number 13. Glad we've got him back at least. Stefano out on top, Schumacher in second, Ferrens there in third. Nuth now on the run toward the line. Red Bull looking to go to the top spot, doesn't, goes third with a 110.5. Of course, Supermax Verstappen took the famous 2 wins, of course, here in Deutschland in 2021 and 2022. In Dutchland, I should say, not Deutschland, that's Germany. Stefano though out on top, Schumacher in second, Nuth there in third. Dino and fourth is Vasilo. Finally finding his form, it seems, here in the Netherlands. He just ran as retired from the session. That is a crash, I think, coming through, or was that in the pit lane? I think that might be in the pit lane from Jospan. Devon now goes quickest, 110.3, but Vasilo finding his form there in second, so good lap time there from him, but it's Devon out on top, Vasilo in second, Stefano in third, and by the way, for the first time ever, in any stream that I've done on PSGL, there is a poll going at this. It will close at the end of qualifying. Get your predictions in, who is going to be pole position here tonight. We'll have a look at the comments section in just a while, but Devon, Vasilo, Stefano, currently the top 3, Mr. Evan Dalton.
Yeah, it's been an interesting start to qualifying. Arie's has just gone to say, oh, that's very close to the top. Arie's just gone to second. Hopefully everything's okay on my end, because I think it's sorted. And there we go, Namsco to the top, a 10-2, of course, racing for VSR. Now he was at 1 this time last week at VSR. Now he goes to the top with 13 minutes to go. That's a good lap time. They'll probably we might be able to beat it. We're still expecting some big runs coming in. I know Noah's coming towards the line now. We'll see what the Haas can do. Here's he heads off the final banking corner. He's going to go 13th. That's a good lap, a 10-2. I think Namsco, he's good so far in this session.
Yeah, Namsco looking very much class above the rest at this stage. It's only a tenth of a second, but a tenth of a second around here is a real insight into what the lap times could be. I'm expecting 109.9s, 109.8s towards that top end of the field. These guys, of course, in PSF1, which is coming up in around 54 minutes' time to be exact, will be setting, I am sure, mid-109s towards the lower end of the 109. So that is giving you a bit of an insight. By the way, good evening to everyone in the chat. Newt there saying hello. Sapala, who's on his debut, I think, here tonight as well, also saying hello. I'm running board of him on a lap in towards Audi S box at turn number 11 and 12. Audi S chicane, call it that way. 49.1 through the middle sector from the Aston Martin, coming through turn number 12, and he has looked very competitive, I've got to say, on this lap. Of course, now part of the defunct LFR team, now, of course, formerly of Scuderia Rosso, and now Zapala coming through the fin, coming through the final couple of corners, on the run toward the line, looking to be around a 110.6, I think, this lap. Oh, 110.5. Close, but no cigar, he goes 10.
Same. Exact same as his teammate, actually. Exact same as Dino. And just a little sneak preview for this evening, folks. James absolutely loves attempting to save the corners. So expect to hear some, I'm not going to say butcher, he normally gives them quite a good go, but expect to see an interesting interpretation on the Dutch language. Fede starting a lap now in his Williams, 81% battery. And that's not really what you want to start with. He's opened up the hot lap a bit early, heading in towards 2 and 3. Very difficult couple of corners. They take a different line on the game than they do in real life, of course. They go high around the outside in real life, go low here because it's banked on the inside, where in real life it's not. Heading down in towards turn number 7. Oh, shy. Oh, I'm going to leave the Dutch to you, actually. I think that might be a better idea. Not a bad lap from Fede so far. However, he's going to have to do that little bit more if he wants to get near the top.
Yeah, I was watching Mitchie there as well on the lap. He's just got popped into fourth, 110.427, around 1100ths of a second clear for CeeLo. Back on board with Fede. He's now coming down in toward Audi S box at turn number 11 and 12, 49 flat in the middle sector. Pretty much exactly the same as what Mitchie was doing. So if that's any insight, Fede should be going around third or fourth position with this lap. It is very condensed though, from fifth all the way, or fourth all the way downwards in the field. Very condensed, very close qualifying session is going to be had out on the track. With Fede now on the run toward the line. Is he going to go towards the top end of the field? No, he only goes 9th. A little bit disappointing actually. We were backing him up coming through the final couple of corners there. The 110.541 puts him in the mid-pack. And when he's got, 6 drivers around him that are separated by around a tenth of a second, that is going to be a struggle for him to improve.
Yeah, it's very close though. It is a very close field. So he's not being 9th, I suppose, is not the worst in the world. There's an improvement there. That's Schumacher, who has gone to second. It's a Mercedes 1-2. Namsco leads from Schumacher. And those two had a little bit of a scrap last week in the final lap, didn't they, in Bahrain? Wasn't too bad. Schumacher, though, did come out on top, and he's currently behind Namsco. Of course, Schumacher only a reserve, not a main driver for the Mercedes team.
Yep, Ferrens has just gone 5th as well. Talent Factory Man, he goes into 5th. Of course, he lives only a few minutes away from the Zandvoort circuit, I'm led to believe. He certainly told me that in an interview that I did in another league. So Ferrens is a local boy, local Dutchie, of course. He's currently there in 5th position, and Devon, of course, there in 4th, just ahead of him. Stefano on a lap as well. I think he's just backed off, actually, on this lap. Schumacher there in 2nd. Crispy, by the way, in the side, saying in the chat, who invited Begmacher? He's not Begmacher, he's Schumacher, and he's in 2nd position at 110.226. Very quick, of course, in qualifying last week. Very quick, in course of that real, what I like to call an aggressive move, as Aries is up purple in the middle sector, 48.9. Very aggressive move that he did under the brakes in towards turn number 1 in Bahrain on the final lap of the race. In the end, nothing happened in terms of that race result. Nothing got changed. Schumacher took the win outright, I think, and he absolutely deserved it last week. As Aries on the run towards the line, goes 4th with a 300th improvement.
300th improvement, not bad from Aries there. Aries keeping it right in the mix. Another man I expect to see something from is Steph, of course. It was kind of a similar situation last week, wasn't it? We didn't really see a lot from him in the early parts of qualifying, so the blistering lap towards the end was right up there. Come the end of the session, so we do expect to see some stuff from Steph. However, the interesting thing about Zandvoort is a lot of Dutch drivers in league racing who normally want to take a win. That's no different this evening. Of course, we've Devon, who is the lead Dutch driver at the moment. I suppose you could say the Max Verstappen of the field. You have Ferrens as well. running the Dutch flag, and then Brand, the only three Dutchies. It's actually quite a low count of the Netherlands drivers, but they're all going to want to be 1, 2, and 3 on that podium in their home circuit.
Yeah, somebody that isn't a Dutchman, though, is Noah. He's a German, and he come now through turn 11 and 12 in toward Arie Lundijk, of course, at 13 and 14. Noah looking quite good. He's 2.5 turns up on his lap. It's a 110.9. If he can get around Futzbab, Ron, Sapala, that sort of area, it'll set him really good for a final lap, as now Noah comes on the run toward the line out of Arie Lundijk, goes 14th ahead of on, exactly where I expected them to be honest, in that lap. Dino was backed off in his lap as well. Mitchie on the run toward the line. 49 flat in the middle sector on the run to the line. In fact, he's on an out lap going ultra lap. Real confusement here in the chat at least. Namsquad on top, Schumacher there in second, Stefano there in third. But the front runners actually haven't really got a proper run at things just yet. Devon is now starting up on a lap as well there in fifth with a 110.3. But Namsco, Schumacher, Stefano currently in the top three. And to be honest, if you said to me that would be a top three in qualifying, I wouldn't have laughed at you. I would have probably said, yeah, that's actually spot on.
Yeah, it's not an unconventional top three, I suppose. It's not an unconventional prediction. Devon being up there, so I suppose the biggest surprise for me. Devon, he runs well around Zandvoort, however, not traditionally a good starter in a championship. Traditionally, he's quite good towards the end of the season. He's on another bit of a run here, slightly down in the first sector. Looking promising, though, for Devon. He could be on for a good result here. He usually has that moment in a season. I know he had it last season. In the Circuit of the Americas, usually has that moment, a bright spark. Oh, almost blocked by AlphaTauri. That was very close there, and whether he's lost time from that, not too sure.
Yeah, sister car coming in the way. I think Devon has indeed backed off, I think, on this lap. No, he's actually 300s down. So, pardon me, he's 300s down on this lap in fifth position, 110.314. Namsco currently out on top, I think, is just starting up on the lap. He's coming through Arie Lundijk just in front, I think. So, Devon on the run through Arie Lundijk, or Arie Lundijk box, you Dutchies there in the chat. Devon now on the run towards the line, and he backs off. So Devon does indeed back off on his lap. Namsco there out on top, Schumacher in second, Stefano there in third. PSGL F1 royalty, by the way. Mr. Carmentalus has just wished me a happy birthday, which is very nice indeed. Didn't wish that on the chat, however. So if you are wondering, yes, it is my birthday, and yes, I am quarter of a century old as Ferrand. Purple in the first sector out of everyone.
Yeah, good for a sector by Ferrand. Just looking at Schumacher's, he's just at a 24.4. Good in the first sector. He's slightly up on his time. Namsco just behind him. We'll see what he does. 24.4, but it's quicker. Namsco up in the top two. Mercedes, he's been quicker so far all session. Quicker again here with 5 minutes and 24 to go. It's an unusual time, I suppose, to see the drivers attempting their second runs. But good run by Ferrand. We'll keep an eye on him.
Yeah, 48.9 in the middle sector, dead on. Bit of snap of oversteer coming out of Audi S-Box at turn number 12, then through the right hand of 13, then through the right hand of turn number 14. Ferrand's now on the run towards the line, looking to go around the 110.2s, taking a very thin line on the run to the line, and he goes quicker, 110.2 flat. Goes 4,000th of a second ahead of Namsco, who is responding with a 10th and a half up in the middle sector. Schumacher now comes to the line with a 110.1. Namsco surely going to beat them both on the run to the line. He does. 110 flat. Very good lap time there from Namsco. Nearly a 10th clear of his teammates. Schumacher there in second. Ferrand's there in third. Stefano, I think, is on the lap. He's 400th up out of the first sector, so keep a close eye on him at this moment in time. But Namsco, Schumacher, Ferrand's now the top three. Stefano, though, looking good coming through this middle sector through turn 10.
Monster middle sector for Namsco. That's what got him. They're very even, though. This is going to be a very close race as things stand. Stefano's had a bit of a wobble, 2/10 down. That's the lap pretty much done. You're not going to regain that in the final sector, especially at this high level. Fede slightly down in the first sector. However, it is very marginal so far around Zandvoort. Didn't think it'd be this close, but it's always an exciting one here in the Dutch beaches.
Yeah, Volakongen, by the way, has gone fourth as well. The TNR man. Watch out for him at your peril. I said that, I think, last week as well. Volakongen does like this track. He has won around here before in another league, so I know he is good around here. Nuthfair down in 8th has backed off his lap, 110.4 currently. Dark is on an out lap at this stage. Feddy was in Ballard. He was 10th and a half down in the middle sector. He's now coming into the pit lane once again. And Futzpav and Sapala are not on laps, I don't think, at this stage. I think Sapala might be running up the hill. Coming to the right-hander, 24.6 in the first sector. Not too bad from Sapala. Not too quick either, though.
No, not too quick either. Not the best run so far for Sapala, is it, this session? Down in 17th and 15th for Aston Martin as a whole. Not doing too well. He's going to want to improve. Apologies, you've caught me at a bad time. Was just fixing the microphone again, hence why if it sounds a bit stuffy.
That sounds absolutely fine, certainly on my end. Zapolo there, 49.1. He's 200s up in that middle sector. He's looking very good, I've got to say, on this lap as well. Namsko, Schumacher, Ferrens top 3 with 3 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. Ending the poll, by the way, in a couple of minutes' time. The poll still states that Schumacher, 41%. Other, please comment, which many of you have not, which I'm very disappointed in, 31%. Steph there on 18%, and Ari's there on 10%. And in the end, I think everyone is voting maybe with instinct rather than anything else, because they've seen Namsko, they haven't seen him being put in the pool, which I was going to actually put him in the pool, but he hasn't, and that other please comment, I think, is certainly going to get the vote. Out on track as Dark has gone for spin, out of Hookenholz at turn 3.
Yeah, didn't quite catch the start of that one. However, very unusual point to see a car spinning. I suppose in some of the lower tiers you'd see a few spins there, but at this level they normally quite have the traction nailed down. I know one of the more difficult corners would be turn 13 of Kumhobocht. That is, it's a very difficult one. You get on the curb on the left-hand side, you can flick the car off to the right, and you'll be in the wall on the inside of the banking, and it's very difficult to recover as well. Because of a bank corner, it's very difficult to get the traction down, but unlucky for Dark, however, don't think he's damaged, can go for another run.
Yeah, definitely. So Fasilo's on a run coming through Skyflack at turn number 7, and he's at 24.6 in the first sector. So not lightning quick actually from Fasilo. He's down 11th position at this stage. Coming through Masters Block at turn number 8, in toward Vodafone at turn, Renault at turn number 9, and then in toward Vodafone at turn number 10. Yes, I have memorised these corners off by heart, I hope. Fasilo, big snap of oversteer coming out of turn number 10, and that snap of oversteer was too much. He's out of sync compared to everyone, but he may as well be in sync now because he's back up his lap.
Oh, Steph was starting a run, and he's made some sort of a mistake and instantly backed off it as he headed through turn number 3. Yeah, that's unusual. Very unusual. Rare mistake. He's backed off and he'll get another run in. Very short lap around Zandvoort, but there's... Oh, hold on a second. There's an Aston Martin who's just gone on the wall somewhere. Think it might have been Dino. Thought he went on the grass, certainly. Not too sure what's gone on there. However, there's a lot of traffic in this last sector. It is... It's like rush hour traffic on a Friday evening, but this is going to be a very interesting shootout. Here comes Schumacher to start his run.
Yep, Schumacher starting his run, Namsko as well starting his run, but right on board with Schumacher. On the run down in towards turn number 1 at Tarzan, and then in towards the left-hand of turn number 2, through the right-hand of turn number 3, and then in towards Hoogenholz, which is the other name for banking, at turn number 4. Very wide line that you can take, of course. Bit of snap of oversteer, and that just unsettles the car. Might have just unsettled his time through the first sector as well. We'll see with Schumacher on the run up the hill in towards Skyflack at turn number 7. 24.5, yeah, that mistake really cost him in that first sector, but he can make it up in this middle and final sector. That is for sure. Coming through Masters Block to turn number 8, runs too far wide, takes out the 100-metre ball for good measure, and that's his qualifying probably done.
Probably. Let's see. Namsko down as well in the first sector. Very interesting. These two are kind of folding under pressure a little bit. Ferrens is just ahead of them on the circuit, but Namsko still has a run in him. That's the main thing. Let's look at Steph's first sector. 24.4. Improvement here from Steph. Of course, his best lap is on the mediums. Keep an eye on the Alpine here. The championship leader still has another part to play at this qualifying session.
Ferrens again, 48.9 in the middle sector. He's 500s down though as he comes through the right-hand of turn number 13 and spins. Full 360 coming through the banking at Arie Lundijk, and Ferrens there is down in 3rd. Schumacher as well has backed off his lap. Namsko I think has fun coming out of turn number 12. That means potentially the likes of Stefano. He's 3.5 tenths down though, Stefano. Out of the middle sector, he's backed off. Arie's potentially going to be the one that breaks the camel's back as he now on the run toward the line. Can Aries go top? No, he can't. He goes 4th, 10.2. Not a bad lap there at all from him. Stefano back in the pits. Nuther's backed off. Fasilo has backed off. Axia's fun coming through Arie Lundijk at 10.14 as well. And you were saying that Steph was on the lap. 4.5 tenth improvement. Doesn't actually improve a position though.
No, terrible run. It seems like everybody has made some form of a mistake here. Oh, Axis completely smashed his front wing. Facilio, and he's in the 2-minute mark. It's a horrible end to what I thought was an exciting qualifying. I think there was only a couple of improvements. I know Futzbab made a big improvement there, jumping up to 10th with a 10.4. Only real improvement I saw. A lot of people making a mistake. Namsko Schumacher, very lucky not to be punished for that.
Very lucky indeed, but it is a Mercedes 1-2. How many times have we seen that in Zandvoort? Probably never. Namsko out on top, Schumacher there in 2nd, Ferrens there in 3rd, and the order of the day was getting improvements in towards the top end of this qualifying session, towards the midpoint in the session as well. not many drivers actually improved on that run. You mentioned their Futzbab there in 10th, and obviously Steph improved 4.5 tenths, but the championship leader down in 19th. People that predicted him in the poll, I apologise to you, because that was a real bad showing from Steph. He's down there in 19th and has got a mountain to climb to try and win his home race.
Yeah, 16%. You've had a bit of a mare there, lads. I won't lie. That's not a good prediction at all. Larry's kind of redeemed himself, but James, I'll hand it back over to you for full quality results.
Yep, definitely so. Namskull there out on top. Apologies, by the way, I am just lagging slightly. I'm going to try and end the poll if I can. Namskull out on top from Schumacher there in second. Ferrens there in third. Ari's there in fourth. Devon there in fifth. Only a 10.5. Well, actually 2/10 of a second probably in the top five. Volakongen in sixth. Stefano in seventh. Nuke there in eighth. Ron there in ninth. And Futzbab round off the top 10. With Mitchie in 11th. Fasilo in 12th. Axie, that's the race director. Apologies. Actually there in 13th. Dark in 14th. Freddy in 15th. And then Stino, Sapala, Noah and Steffi all got lapped. As we now will go to our advert. We'll be back in just 30 seconds. Well, isn't this a turn up for the books on my birthday? It is. Qualifying done. Racing though, full wet conditions to start off the Dutch Grand Prix here in Zandvoort. And my goodness me, you are not going to see many people on that beach whatsoever in these conditions. Absolute tipping down out on track. Only around 30 seconds to go until, of course, the racing gets underway. And Evan, it is going to be an absolute cluster potentially on the first lap.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is that our reactions were very lucky they weren't on stream. We'd one little look at the weather and we're, oh, this could be a messy one, folks. However, messy races in Formula 1 are normally quite fun. This 4.259 kilometre circuit is now becoming an ice rink. Anyone could really win this one. The first Dutch Grand Prix was won by a Thai Prince Bira, in very unusual circumstances. Anyone could win this one. Back to you, James.
Yeah, definitely. So 5 seconds to go then. We're not going to get a pull up in time for the race, unfortunately, but we are going to get 36 laps of racing here in Zandvoort. The 5 red lights now coming on. God help us with this one. 5 red lights coming out, and it is... Lights and away we go, and Schumacher jumps the start. Schumacher jumps the start. Had an early light glitch, I think, there, but Schumacher leads in towards turn number 1. Namskull there in second, Ari's there in third, and everyone's on different tyres in towards Tarzan at turn number 1. There's a huge bit of contact further down the field. Noah, I think, has just rejoined the session. The glitches, the timing is glitching to the left-hand side, so Polly's apart from Futzbab, Axie, Dino, Mitchie, who are all on wet. Vasilo also on enters, Justbrand on wet. Feddy on inters, and everyone else is on wet further down the field. So real stark-up in choices. Volakongen now run side by side, coming through with Ferrens in towards turn number 10, and Masters Reynolds Box. And Ferrens just about starting his way out of control of the car. Now Volakongen is side by side with them in towards the Audi S-Box, and now Devon side by side as well with Ari's just in front of the camera shot. Schumacher leads, Namskull in second, Ari's there in third. That's a huge dive bomb from Futzbab in the meantime. Gravel being kicked up there, and Volakongen comes across the circuit, and it's all an absolute cluster in towards Ari Lundijk for the first time.
I've never seen such a crazy start. These guys, the two from Harris are almost making contact. They're all seem to be on the wrong tyres. No matter what tyre is the best one, it's clearly not showing. Schumacher with a horror start to jump the start there, but this is real messy. What happened, Noah? I think there was some technical issue there because he was just into the wall, just going straight along it. There was no input anywhere. That's a lovely little move actually here from Mitchie, and the two from Ferraris are getting really scrappy up here for 8th.
They are indeed, and they're just about hang on actually. Futzbab there in 8th, actually there in 9th. As you say, Mitchie there was getting side by side, and in fact is nearly going side by side with championship leader Steph, and he's now side by side with Sapala, makes a bit of contact, they lean each other slightly now up the hill in towards Skyflack once again, and that is a good move there from Justbrand going around the outside and towards Skyflack, gets the job done. Justbrand doing he's into 12th, Sapala there in 15th now, Mitchie there in 16th, not sure if there was a bit of contact again between them both, but certainly Justbrand has got the job done. Beautiful move up the hill.
Oh, look at Steph diving his teammate. Sprang. Two Alpines are known for a bit of contact, I suppose, in real Formula One. However, not so much in PSGL. What happened with Sapala and Michi? Michi came off, came straight back on, and Sapala had to become the regen of Carlos Sainz Sr. to get that move done on the grass around the outside. But very impressive stuff. Two Alpines still side by side here in towards 11 and 12.
Coming through 11 and 12, and Steph is on the outside on Yusprand. The two Alpines are going to go side by side. Please don't make contact like Ocon, and no respond through turn number 2, and that is a VSC. Yeah, VSC deployed. I can only assume that's for Noah. He's lost his front wing, I think. Yeah, he has indeed. Noah has spun. Coming through turn number 2. In fact, actually, that's his AI doing donuts out on track. I kid you not. I kid you not. That is Noah doing donuts in AI mode. He's now taking control of his car. Some things you see on the Cold Masters game, and then there's that.
What is that? That is
Oh, we got back underway. We got back underway.
Look at
running
this.
back at Schumacher.
Look at this.
And look at Stefano. Stefano's doing he's into second. Goodness me, this is catching us completely off guard. Schumacher leads the way in the wall. Red Bull in the wall, that's Devon in the wall. I think there was contact there with Aries running up the hill. They were running side by side, both leaning each other, and Aries is in the wall. And I think he's certainly Devon in the wall, and certainly he's got damage. And I think Ron has just been picked up by, well, Aries has been spun as well. I wonder if there's something going on potentially in the lobby here, because I'm seeing blue flags. I think Noah's actually been lapped out on track.
Yeah, Noah's in the middle of this. He's in the middle of this little train. That's what caused it. They were all called out by the Haas doing donuts. I certainly was called out. It's not often that I lose composure from that, but that was very funny. It's wow, what a race. They were 5 wide there. Not too sure what all they were doing under the VSC. Noah is letting everybody through. Gotta say, fantastic sportsmanship from the Haas there to just let everyone through and just let them run their races. But Devon, unfortunately, goes into the wall in this home Grand Prix, and it's not looking good from here for Devon.
It's not at all, but it is looking good for Dino. Right on the back of Baxi in towards turn number 1 at Tarzan. Steph side by side as well with Nuth in the background. But Dino down the inside line, trying to get the car stopped. Oh, he does. Beautiful stuff from Aston Martin. Now the Ferrari tries to hook underneath him. Great job, though, by Dino. Gets the move done on the brakes. You can overtake in the wet around here. Certainly, according to Dino, he's doing his into 6th. I think also Steph got past Nuth for 9th.
I think the wet tyres are the ones that are working here, James. We're kind of, pardon the pun here, but we're kind of seeing the wet tyres rise to the surface of the water, and the inters are kind of just falling down the grid here. I think the wet tyres are the ones to be on.
Yeah, certainly so. Devon run into the pit lane. Noah also in the pit lane, and he is now pretty much at the back of the field. He ideally needs a safety car, I think, and Michael Massey possibly to try and interfere in this race as well. But Schumacher leads the way, Stefano in second. We cannot understand what happened underneath that restart. I'm still at absolute odds as to why Stefano's now in second. Namsko, I think, got completely napping. Volakongan, I think, was in that as well. And to be fair to Volakongan, he's actually gained 5/10 of a second. His footspad nearly rear-ends him in towards turn 11 and 12. Volakongan, though, his inters are working.
Yeah, I think I take back what I've just said. The inters are not looking too bad on Volakongan's car anyways. The rest of them are certainly struggling. However, the majority of the pitters all boxed for the inters, apart from Devon. Schumacher into service drive through penalty.
Dino in the wall! Oh, and Axie's in the wall as well! Dino snaps coming through Harry Lundijk. He had a moment into the wall on the left-hand side. Axie did exactly the same thing, and it's a safety car. Is it? Yeah, safety car out on track.
Oh, Schumacher very lucky, got into serve. That drive through would have been a disqualification if he hadn't, or if he was in the pits. If he was in the pits, like in the entrance of the pit lane when the safety car came out, it would have just been a pit stop rather than a drive-through penalty. But he got it served out in 10th. Yeah, that's unusual. You can definitely see some snaps in the wet here. Fu Ariel Lundijk balked, and it's happened. It's certainly happened. I thought it happened a lot more than that. I know in PSGL, in my PSGL days, I've certainly seen a few big crashes around Zandvoort here in the wet.
What?
But yeah, hectic race start. We thought it would be. It certainly has delivered so far.
And Mr. whatever his face is, Bert Marlander, whatever his face, Bert Marlander has just nearly parked it coming through Hugenholt at turn number 4. He's nearly parked it on the racing line, and that is why the likes of Facilo Feddy nearly ran into the back of each other. They did very much, luckily, not to run into the back, but they're in 11th and Feddy in 12th. We can now compose ourselves. Calm down, everyone. Stefano now leads the way. Namsko in second. Volakongan there in third. Schumacher, as you say, came in for that drive-through penalties. That's why he's down there in 10th position. Facilo there down in 11th there as well, along with Feddy. They're on intermediate compound tyres, and the majority of the field now going for inters. it doesn't look like there's actually puddles forming on the exit of the corners and on the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the track. It certainly is coming through Avril Lundike, but not as bad as what we fear. And I think certainly it is going to be intermediate very soon indeed. Now, in fact, Stefano is coming in. I can only assume this will be for Greenwall tyre, which of course can dispose of 25 to 30 litres of water a second, compared to the wet which disposes of 75 litres of water a second. There we are. So Volakonga needs to wait. Oh, Mr. Evan Dalton has left the session. Not sure what's going on there with him. Volakonga needs to wait. Nuth there in second, Facilo there in third. I have a feeling Mr. Evan Dalton's Wi-Fi has potentially gone down. Volakonga needs to wait. Nuth there in second, Facilo there in third, Freddie there in fourth. These guys have all stayed out, along with Ferenc there in fifth. Stefano out of the pit lane along with Namsko. They're all going for that set of intermediate compound of tyre. But at this moment in time, still 5th and 6th position. And Stefano there is technically the net leader of the race. Obviously, do not wear them at your peril. The front five who are obviously going to be waiting up out on track for the guys underneath the safety car now. Volakonga, Nuth, Facilo currently in your top 3 prediction. Brett Simpson there in the chat. He's new here, but man, I will do anything to watch some racing right now. Totally agree. You have came to the right place. PSF1, of course, is coming along with the rest of the PST. Is at 8 PM UK time. Jessica Ball and Aidan Carter delivering the action for that one. But you are here at this right moment in time. We don't know what's going on. I certainly don't know what's going on. But we're still here. Lap 6 out of 36. Volakonga leads the way. Nuth there in second. Facilo there in third. As I think have just been messaged by Mr. Evan Dalton. He's certainly just disconnected from my Discord. And Mr. Evan Dalton is saying to me his Wi-Fi has gone down. He'll be back ASAP. So, I mean, just stick with me, which is not too bad. Hopefully you're still staying tuned in. Volakonga, by the way, with the only penalty of the race so far. There was a 3-second penalty for a cut, actually, that he wasn't actually involved in, because Clayton's foot spab went into the rear end of him, forced him onto the gravel, got that 3-second penalty. He may look into getting that one certainly removed. Lap 7 out of 36. Volakonga leads the way. Nuth there in second. Facilo there in third. Mr. Evan Dalton will be back with us very soon indeed. Oh, as I can finally catch a little bit of breath in terms of that racing. Always wet races around here, normally quite good. It has certainly dried up a little bit. The rain is still falling, of course, out on track, but it looks now a little bit lighter. The clouds certainly look a little bit fairer above the surface, and that is the big indicator in terms of the weather on this game. Normally, when the clouds begin to get a little bit lighter, normally the rain begins to stop. And I think that's what we're seeing now out on track. It still looks absolutely atrocious conditions, but even coming through Skyflash that I mentioned coming through turn number 7, there's not much in the way of puddles coming on the surface of the track. As Mr. Evan Dalton, I think, is back alongside me now.
Well, yeah, I think so. I didn't even have the application open, but I'm here somehow, so... Well, unfortunately my Wi-Fi did break down. They're trying everything at this little porco government evening. But yeah, hello everyone.
Yeah, we can afford Evan a new chair, which I hope he's got as well. And we can obviously hope... No, you haven't got it yet. Terrible. No. Absolutely terrible. Anyways, Devon, by the way, is still not on the back of the safety car queue, so Volakonga leads the way. Nuth there in second, Facilo there in third. Lap 8 out of 36 about to begin. Brett Simpson was there in the chat saying he is new here, and man, he wants to watch some racing. Well, he is going to go watch some racing, of course, next lap around. I'm looking at the chat. Brett Simpson actually is still in the chat, which I'm very glad to report. Brand new, of course, to the PSGL channel. Welcome along. You have joined, along with 45 other people, somehow, an Irishman and a Northerner commentating on PSF2, but we are delighted anyways. And did I say it was my birthday as well?
Oh, for God's sake. James loves to mention the fact it's his birthday, but happy birthday to the man who runs these streams. As you can tell, that the fact that the stream still went, despite me having about 50 different issues, is that James is the one in charge of it, and we...
Fair play to the stream that has just decided to disconnect my OBS, but hopefully we're back now. Literally, as I was saying, he was in charge of the stream. I was in charge of the stream, but barely for 2 seconds. It just restarted itself. Weird.
Yeah, that was bad timing. Also, James, I do have a quick question. While I was disconnected, how is Volakonga in the lead of this race?
Volakonga is in the lead of this race because Stefano and the likes pitted in for a set of intermediate compound tyres. That's why they're down in 6th and 7th. So, obviously, these have stayed out. All the way down to Ferenc have stayed out. Everyone, I think, in behind maybe apart from Ron and Devon, who I think might be on their intermediate compound tires that they had. A safety car, by the way. Virtual Vermolander now is coming in this lap, and Volakongan is Virtual Vermolander. Maybe not for long, though. He nearly spun coming through, weaving up his tyres. Coming through, turning towards turn 11 and 12. But Volakongan now, Virtual Vermolander, now the virtual safety car, and now hoping going to be that he is going to get a very good restart, of course, out on track here tonight. I have just realised, by the way, my camera's still turned on, which might be causing that little bit of lag that we're seeing. But Volakongan leads the way, and now coming through turn 13. When is he going to decide to go? Maybe in the middle of the banking, just to put everyone under a bit of pressure. Coming through Ari Lundbike, I think he'll actually be on the exit of the banking, if I'm not mistaken. And in fact, no, he goes in the middle of the banking. Coming through Ari Lundbike, Volakongan now sets sail down in towards turn number 1. A great restart, and look at Ference now on the back of Fetty. 3 wide and almost in towards turn number 1. Now the Shazoo boys are going to try and work together, but that's a parting of the Red Sea from Ference down the inside line in towards turn number 1. What a move that is! Parting of the Red Sea, part at the middle of the Shazoo boys, part of the middle of the Williams. Frank Williams certainly won't be happy with that. Ference there in third, and now going for second on these 2-lap pressure intermediates, and he gets the job done. Canada who can hold at turn number 4. Great restart from Ference. Volakongan leads the way. Ference there in second, Luke there in third, and in the end, Fasilo and Fetty on those 1 intermediates are getting absolutely hounded in the background. Stefano in the end gonna be really cost up with that. Great restart though from Ference. He's into second and already hunting down the leader.
What a restart by Ference. Unbelievable move into turn number 1. Harry's just got another good launch as well. He's just down the inside of turn number 7 on the inside of Dino. There's real scrapping here. Schumacher and Axel being caught up, and it's Schumacher trying to recover after that drive through, and Footsie Bab and Steph gets the job done.
He does get the job done, coming out of in towards Audi S box at turn number 11 and 12, gets the job done. He's into 8th position. Schumacher and Axie are side by side, as well as Sapolo and Justran. Justran tries to go all the way around the outside on the traction, gets a bit blocked there by Axie. Not his fault, because he was boxed in on the inside line, and now for the inside of turn number 13, Justran forced him on the curb, just about gets around that without contact. Sapolo is going to do well to try and catch the back of Axie, and now in the end, Justran is coming back onto the back of Sapolo in towards turn number 1 at Tarzan. 3 wide in the foreground, in towards turn number 1 as well. Fetty and Fasilo really putting the Shazoo boys at play. This is almost like the SRC event between Shazoo and OP. This could be interesting. And Nuth in third is getting the way of result of these guys. Fasilo and Fetty still 4th and 5th. Fetty in 4th, Fasilo there in 5th, and Steph trying to go all the way around the outside of Namsko with a great exit coming out of Hugenholt in towards Sky Flack up the hill through 6th, and then in towards Sky Flack at turn number 7. But Steph's going to get the job done. You bet he will. That's the champion's move right there. Steph through, and he's into 7th position. Also, by the way, intra-net 2nd position, potentially out on track.
Oh, Aries has really got it wrong. I'm not too sure what's gone on there, but the McLaren's lost a few spots. This is fantastic racing here by the 2 Alpines. Steph doing really well, and then Justran battling great as well here.
Schumacher!
Back in. Schumacher done.
Schumacher's just gone around the outside of Dino at turn number 10. Great stuff from Schumacher. He is doing his into 10. And look at, Namsko down the inside line, sent a dive bomb on Steph. This is mad. This is absolutely mad. Volakongan leads. Ference there in second. There's only 5 tenths to the race lead, by the way. Steph's going to try and put his nose back up the inside of turn number 13. Now side by side coming through Ari Lundike at turn number 14. Please don't make contact coming through here. Footspot right on the back of this as well. The VIR man on the back running down in towards turn number 1. What is this race? Down in towards turn number 1. Steph on the outside on and Namsko. In the end, the Seal gets the job done and Stefano retakes the position. Footspot back up the inside on as Steph. I really can't keep up with this. Footspot and Steph now side by side. Footspot just goes into the back there of Namsko, recovers, and now Schumacher's down the inside of who can hold at turn 4.
If you run wide, there's a couple of inside. There's 3 wide here on the exit of Hugenholt. It's unbelievable. Schumacher wheel banging with the Ferrari. This is going to be side by side. This is going to be so close to hit. But Schumacher, he's just got the job done. Oh, the safety car's out. It's spoiled the party. But this is unbelievable racing here in PSGL F2. This is classic.
Yeah, that was a spin from Mitchie coming out of Hugenholt. I think that was done by himself, so he's in the wall, coming out of Hugenholt. His car's just disappeared. It was on the right-hand side. You can only assume he's got caught in the curb, flicked it one way, gone into the wall the other way, and that is a very, very easy mistake to make on this game, and indeed at this track. Ron there passing the scene of the accident. Noah there still in the midfield as well, in that Haas. Volakongan though leads the way. Ference there in second, Nuth there in third. I was honestly hoping that the safety car wouldn't come out as a result, because that was absolutely insane racing. I don't know how, by the way, the Shazoo boys are still 4th and 5th. They have put the ultimate Williams block on the OP man of Stefano, and Stefano there in 6th in the Alfa Romeo just cannot get through. It's as almost built the Great Wall of China, and Williams have invited them to a party.
Yeah, this is if this is your first time watching PSGL, it isn't like this every week. This is brilliant. I'm loving every second of this, James. You know well, I just love a bit of a scrap, really. I'm very simple, easily entertained. This is entertaining, and this is entertainment at its highest form. And this is beautiful. This is Shakespearean Grand Prix racing. It's starting to dry up a bit, though. I wonder will we get a dry patch towards the end. That's all this really needs. It's definitely not as wet as it was at the start of just after the last sector period.
Yeah, definitely not. And yeah, the rain has really eased off, in fact, out on track. And normally the indicator is the cloud cover. The cloud cover, normally if it gets fairer, it's normally tending to dry out towards the end of the race. And that's what I was saying when you were gone, Evan, as well. And Ferrance there in second. These guys will really be hoping, I think, not for the dryness of this track. Obviously, can't even get my words out. The track to dry out in the manner that they hope, because they were making very good progress through the field. Fetty, of course, and Fasilo were putting the ultimate block there on the OP man in 5th and 6th position. But Volakongan has got control of the race. He can dictate when he wants to come in the pit lane, and I can only assume with the rain easing off that it is going to be certainly a dry patch towards the end of the race. Maybe even a little bit of sun, potentially, which will really excite the Dutch fans, I am sure. Volakongan though out in front, Ferrance in second, Nuth in third. I feel like we've been commentating the last half an hour. We probably have, given that's been intermediate racing. But a third of the way through the race, Volakongan leads the way, Ferrance in second, Nuth there in third. And the final thing that I'm going to say, Brett Simpson is our lucky man tonight.
Hey, you really are. If you wanted to watch some racing, you've picked the right tier. If you want to watch some more PSGL, of course you can tune in F1 after. Oh, here we go. Oh, mediums. Oh, absolutely. I fancy a bit of this. This is going to make this race really interesting. I think it could be slightly early because there's still rain coming down. This is it's a gamble. It is a gamble. This may not be Las Vegas. This may be Zandvoort, but that is a gamble.
It is a real gamble, and even just Wolverine's coming out the pit lane. I think, has he got left side end plate? No, he hasn't. I thought he had left side end plate.
That's Tuvalu to win the World Cup sort of gamble. That is that's not going to work out.
Race winner last week. I don't think he's going to be race winner this week. Famous last word. I mean, he runs so far wide coming through the banking. Certainly not. Mitchie's left the session. We do thank him though for attending. Noah, by the way, still ingrained in the mid-pack. In fact, actually, he's had dark, I think, out on track. So he's only got a couple of drivers behind him to get rid of. Brett Simpson is also saying in the chat, oh my god, what is he doing? Exactly our reaction, I think, to him going on a set of medium compounded tyres. And judging by this track, his Jeff, or his Mike, or whatever, or his Mark, I should say, the engineer these days in F1 22, he has probably been told to pit in because the track is drying out. One thing that this game teaches you, and if you are a newcomer to PSGL like Brett is, do not listen to Mark, do not listen to Jeff, go with your own instinct. Schumacher clearly hasn't gone with his.
It's even worse, the fact his name is Schumacher, I think. My, that's a terrible, terrible decision. But anyways,
but no,
I thought Ferrance was about to do the same thing. Ferrance weaved towards the pits. I imagine Schumacher will be back in for a fresh wing. What tyres he goes on. Although, it's starting to dry up. It definitely is starting to dry up. We're definitely going to have some dry tyres before the end of this race. Schumacher stayed out. Well, that tells you what you need to know about Schumacher. He's a risk taker, and we knew that anyways. We knew that back in his F1 Esports Challenger days and his PSGL days. He's a risk taker, and this is certainly a risk.
Yeah, Dan Spreen there in the chat as well, saying, to be fair, it has stopped with raining. It hasn't yet, or has it? In fact, it actually has stopped raining. So thank you very much, Dan. You are the Mystic Meg in amongst us here tonight. Schumacher is now. Yeah, the rain has stopped. I can guarantee that now the rain has stopped. I think Dan might be potentially sitting in somebody's party. This is obviously a little bit behind what we're seeing in real time, but these guys, I'm thinking, are obviously now going to be onto that set of dry compounded tyres, and for everyone on that set of Inters, it's really a gamble that's not going to be risk-taking. So what I'm going to say now is this, Evan. Is my comment of 2 laps ago with Schumacher, as the safety car is going to come in this lap, is my comment with 2 minutes ago with Schumacher dumbfounded, or am I just completely insane? Could he actually still win this race?
I don't understand why he hasn't pit to change his damage on the last lap, whether he has damage, although the front wing still looks intact. Safety car's in this lap anyways,
my God.
and he's...
Newton's the back of Ferrans. Newton's the back of Ferrans. It slowed up so much. I think they were inches apart. They looked like there was contact to me. And they've got away fine. And Volokongan, I think, is immediately going to try and settle this out on track. Coming through Barry Lundijk, goes at exactly the same point. And look at the speed he's carried compared to Ferrans. Fetty there is on the back of Newton towards turn 1 as well. Everyone with a clean restart so far further down the field. Everyone as well good with a clean restart and down in towards turn 1 at Tarzan. We're back in the way. Volokongan leads the way. Ferrans there in second, Newton third. Fetty in fourth as Justran forces the move and Axie in towards turn 1 at Tarzan. The Alpine and the Ferrari going side by side where we've seen this before. Through turn 2, gets the job done. Justran now into Hugenholz, gets Dooney's into 12th, and Steph, the other Alpine, has just got around the outside on the inside of Namsko. They're colliding nearly up towards Skyflack, and now the Ferrari of Futzbab is getting involved in this as well. Dino involved in this as well as Namsko goes up the hill in towards Skyflack, in towards turn 7, just about forces the move on the inside line. Steph's still around the outside though, in towards Masters box at turn 8. The Mercedes and the Alpine still side by side. Futzbab going to look for a little bit of a gap down the inside line potentially. Namsko and Steph are getting very friendly with each other. Former VSR man in Steph as he now comes through the left-hander, just about through turn 10 and P8, but now Futzbab right against them on the run up towards turn 11.
This is oh so close. This is really scrappy. Steph going to try hanging around the outside. Futzbab played the clever game. Just let those two scrap at it and then try to pick up some of the damages. It's not worked there, and now he's Dino all over his rear wing. Schumacher's lost about 5.5 seconds, so it's not really worked out here because these guys could possibly pull a pit stop, and somebody is in. Somebody is in. It's Stefano. OP Stefano is in. I'll keep an eye on what tires he goes on, and hand back to you.
And Sapala going around the outside and towards turn 1 on the back of Axie. FBO against LF4. Tries to go around the outside. The Aston Martin on the Ferrari. This is very close racing indeed. Stefano has gone onto that set of mediums. And a great move there by Sapala around the outside of turn 2. Gets the job done. He's into 12th position. And now we potentially could get side by side Namsko and Fasilo, which could get quite interesting up the hill and towards Skyflack. But as proven last lap around, he wasn't going to go for the move. Well, he did go for the move last time around. He wasn't side by side this time, and Namsko stays in behind Fasilo and just has to wait. As the rain has stopped, the track is drying. We are only a couple of laps away from dry running out on track.
Yeah, we are, and medium's the choice for Schumacher and Stefano. They can certainly go to the end, but they won't be feeling that nice. I know the mediums are not that great a tire. Here comes Namsko though. He's looking for a move of Fasilo. Can't quite do it in towards the chicane. Bit of contact, maybe he can hit the back in towards the chicane. It's certainly getting drier here. I would expect a flurry of pit crews coming out of their garages on this lap, James.
Yep, Volokongan is in. Yep, Volokongan's in. Ferrans folds him in. Nuth into the pit lane. Are we going to get all the top runners in? No, Fasilo stays out. Namsko stays out as well. DRS, I think, is going to be enabled maybe next lap around. Brett, I think is right.
Pits. Dino's ran up the back of Futzbab, and that's why Futzbab's got a penalty. There was big contact. Not sure if someone hit the back of the Aston Martin. This is chaos in the pits. There's going to be a big position change. A lot of guys losing time being held up.
Fetty gone for a set of hard compounded tyres coming out the pit lane. Same with Dart.
It's not a bad call. Those tyres will be A-OK towards the end of the race. The mediums will be suffering a little bit. However, in my experience or my knowledge, the hard tyres are very, very difficult to heat up. And they're going to struggle, especially on colder conditions here in Zandvoort.
Oh, Namsko!
Steph trying to go the long way. Around the outside of Fetty already.
Namsko trying to go down the inside. Sorry to cut you off there, Evan. But Namsko was down the inside line at turn 9. Tries to get the job done. Sapala has crashed coming through turn 4. That might be another safety car out on track. Indeed it is.
Oh, it is
another safety car out on track. And Sapala has crashed. Same place as Mitchie. Coming out of Hugenholz at turn 3. Medium compounded tyres it was for Sapala. He has spun out of the race. Fasilo leads the way. Namsko in second. Axie in third. I will finish my point about Namsko. He was down the inside line. Fasilo pretty much cut him off. Namsko, to be fair, wasn't at all alongside him or going to be alongside him. But this is actually, with Sapala leaving the session, we thank him for attending, Fasilo and Namsko are actually going to be helped rather than hindered, I think, with this pit stop. And Axie and Ron also going to be helped. And Schumacher is not going to be entitled to this race lead, I don't think. I think he might be in the race lead. We'll have to find out.
Think you
Fiasilo
will.
enters pit box now, but Schumacher has to stick to his delta time though. And he is.
It
So
does.
Schumacher now in the lead of the
No.
race.
Well, that's a turn for the books, isn't it? He's played the long game. Volakongan, this is interesting. Fasilo, what way is this going to go? Volakongan on the outside line. Oh, he's just about got it. That was close. That was racing out of the pits. They were both pushing full, not giving a care in the world for the Delta. But Schumacher, he's gone from last to first, and how dare we doubt him? He's going to say he's shoves that one right back in our faces. Schumacher leads on lap 18. Long way still to go, though.
Yep, long way still to go, and there's no guarantee that his set of medium compound tyres, or in fact anybody's set of medium compound tyres, are probably the tyre to be on towards the end of the race. I know for a fine fact, if we're going back on last year's game, and in fact going back on last season around here, the medium compound tyres I think only lasted around 18 or 19 laps, so judging by that, 18 or 19 laps for Schumacher is going to take him, 23 laps in that set of mediums. Is he really desperate to get to the end of the race on those set of mediums, or is it going to be a real struggle for him? I think, honestly, the latter. It's going to be a real struggle for him. He's already...
Oh, 100% will be a struggle. It will 110% be a struggle. And I did a race around here in Zandvoort last night, and of course my level of driving would not be even close. Hence why I'm sat talking into a microphone, not on the grid. But still, you can kind of get an imagination for it. About 16, 17, 18 laps at a stretch, maybe. I know certainly he'll be hitting puncture territory sooner rather than later on these mediums. They're not as nice, and with laps going quickly around here, I think he will struggle. However, Schumacher's a very, very good driver, so if anyone can do it, it'll certainly be him. But in regards to Holland, not looking like a home win here. Of course, Verstappen's taken home with both occasions becoming the mod winner, you could say. Most successful driver around here, though, it's not a Dutchman, it's Jim Clark, with 4 wins. Ferrand's the lead Dutchman, though. Could he win from here, James? It would be a bit of a miracle if he could.
Yeah, it will be a bit of a miracle, but the big question is, what is his start going to be like? Volakongan there, 4-lap younger tyres, basically around 15% fresher tyres compared to Schumacher at this stage. As Steph has spun underneath the safety car, coming out of Hugenholtz at turn number 4. So Steph, championship leader, all the way down, back to pretty much where, what is it? Illegal overtake. Yeah, illegal overtake. That's what just came into my mind. Illegal overtake that he had on Steph, which was unfair because Steph had spun by himself. Aries, though, 17. Steph now 16. Pretty much back to where he began.
It's a rookie mistake, isn't it? It's a horrible mistake to spin under a safety car for any driver. When you're the championship leader, it's even worse, and yeah, his confidence is going to be shot from that. He's not going to be the favourite on this safety car restart.
Yep, safety car restart now, coming on Schumacher now, the virtual Bermalander. He once again is the virtual safety car, and he will be hoping for the restart of his dreams. Volakongan will be hoping for the restart of his dreams as well. The Norwegian in second, Schumacher there, of course, former esports man, and Schumacher will be hoping, as he already goes, coming through Harry Lundijk, has absolutely split the field apart. Fasilo has certainly been caught napping there in third, and Volakongan running down towards turn 1 has got Schumacher down in towards turn 1, perhaps around the outside in towards turn number 1. Has he gone too early? Did he run out of ERS perhaps down in towards turn 1? Schumacher just about holds the lead. Volakongan there in second. That was a let-in for Volakongan. Didn't manage to get the job done. Dark has gone past by Steph in the background. So Steph being in the 15, Dark there in 16. Those hards not clearly working. What was Schumacher doing off the start? It's almost as if he wanted to try and jump the start, realised that Volakongan was closed in on him, and then he had to go again.
Yeah, you think he'd had enough bad experiences with jumping the start this race. That's a horrible restart. Volakongan's just been invited into this one. He's been probed like a lion to pounce, and Volakongan is pressuring the Mercedes. However, the Mercedes just seems to have more knowledge on these tyres than Volakongan does, and he's running well, but got to be under major pressure.
Going to be under major pressure indeed. Namsco on the back of Fasilo running for third and fourth. Dino, I think, has had a moment in the background coming through turn number 10. A Vodafone box. Yeah, he is ran in 17th position. Noah, by the way, still ingrained in this mid-pack somewhere. He, in fact, is a ghost right inside of the Red Bull of Devon. right in the mid-pack of this field, so Noah doesn't want to get out of the way. Not entitled to, obviously. He is a goal, so obviously it's going to be really off-putting to the drivers. But I think common sense should prevail. They should just get out of the way and then be at the back of the field. In my perspective, Schumacher leads the way, though. Volakongan there in second. Noah actually passes up the race, now bettered by Steph by around a couple of hundredths of a second there. But Schumacher now under pressure from Volakongan. Remember, Volakongan has picked up that 3-second penalty. But there is absolutely no intention that that 3-second penalty could be removed. I think it could be removed because it was him and Futzbab in towards turn number 11 and 12, got forced onto the gravel by Futzbab, wasn't his fault, and Volakongan might get that 3-second penalty removed after this race has ended.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. He was pushed over on the first lap in the chaotic rain start we had. I would agree with that. I think that one can be removed, but that's of course Louis and the stewards' decision, not me and James. But so we'll have to wait and see after the race for that verdict. However, if he could get past and somehow pull a 3-second gap, that'd be quite impressive as well. This one is still so close in the mid-pack as well. I know Futzbab is pressuring Fetty, but Fetty holding up in the hard compound tyres at this point.
Yeah, definitely so. Stefano there just going in the middle, in fact, inside of Noah, which is not a great sight to see to anybody that's under the age of 18. Schumacher leads the way. Volakongan there in second. Vasilo in third. Namsgaard there in fourth. Devon, though, on the back of Stefano, and Steph on the back of Juspan, the two Alpines now. Well, we've seen this one before in real life. Down in towards turn number 1. Steph to the inside line. The Dutchman just about, I think, gets the job done. In fact, does get the job done. Coming out of turn number 1 and then leans on Juspan there slightly just to get the job done. Steph through into Hugenholtz into P13. He goes. Championship leader, making up ground, but needs a lot more than this.
Yeah, needs to. He's the 10-point lead, mind you, so he is okay if it's a bad result today. But on home turf, you want to do well, and it will give him a boost going in towards the rest of the season. It's not a long season, so he does need every point he can get. This is not a good performance for him so far. He's going to have to try scrape the barrel and see what he can produce.
Gotta say, in fourth position, Namsgaard was looking very quick. He's now gapping Ference. Ference is obviously on a lap older tyres compared to him. But Namsgaard, I've been impressed with his pace. He was good in qualifying. Vasilo was also a little bit woeful, I've got to say, from his perspective. Dino was retired from the race coming out of turn number 10. Is that going to be a safety car? Normally isn't coming through turn number 10. I think that might be off track on the left-hand side, which is where the little cutaway for the on-track vehicles go. So I don't think that is going to be a virtual safety car or indeed a safety car out on track. What I can say, though, is Steph potentially going down the inside of Devon and towards turn 1. The two Dutchmen I thought were going to go side by side. Noel, by the way, is still ingrained in this fight, so it is a bit off-putting to these guys. But Steph not getting the job done on the back of Devon at this moment in time. And Steph there in 13, Devon there in 12th. They're going to be very careful that they don't come into contact with that ghost car ahead of them. The Steph right on the back coming up towards dry flag.
Yeah, and Devon's not doing too well on ERS. He's only got 6%, so Steph is really at an advantage here. That ghost car is going to be awful off-putting for Devon. I know in the Discord server there's already one person to shout at. No, I cannot remember who, but Steph is all over the back of the Red Bull, and Steph the real mover so far in this Grand Prix. Championship leader, got to go for it here up the inside. That's a bold move. That is a really, really bold move, because if you get pushed onto that curb, you are going round. And speaking of going round, it's Aries. Aries is taking a spin.
Aries has taken a spin, Steph around the outside of turn number 11, doesn't get the job done. In fact, Devon was so late on the brakes, he nearly put him into the curb on the left-hand side. Great stuff though from Devon. That was late braking, that was a good defensive move. He's there in 12th, Steph there in 13th, Juspan there in 14th, and Aries, as you mentioned, of course, toward the top end of the field in the championship standings, all the way down in 16th. So obviously everything is going to Schumacher's way, everything is going Futzbab's way, in towards turn number 1 as well, in towards the inside of turn number 1. Fetty on those side of hards, I don't think he's going to defend. That's easy from Futzbab through turn number 1 at Tarzan, gets the job done. He's into 9th.
Been working that move for the last few laps. That's great. Well planned move from Futzbab. Steph tried a little dummy to the inside. Devon was well aware of it. He's a smart racer, as Devon in the Red Bull, and Steph's going to have to try a lot harder to get past Devon in front. Although race lead here is it's looking comfortable for Schumacher now. He's driving a good race. Namsgaard the real one with the pace. He's putting pressure on Facilio.
Yeah, 7/10 of a second has remained very stagnant, I've got to say, between Schumacher and Volakongan. Namsgaard, though, as you say, applying that pressure to Vasilo, going to be very key, I think, for Namsgaard. He, of course, has been demoted from F1 down to F2 this season and is looking to try and prove himself in F2. This is the first race I think we've really got to see both Vasilo and Namsko on the pace compared to the F2 boys that we had, of course, last season. And it's very good to see from that perspective. I mean, we've got a former F1 Esports Challengers man out in front, Volokongan there in second, brand new to the championship, and Vasilo and Namsko third and fourth. What way to prove yourself to the likes of Vasilo and Namsko. For Volokongan, certainly, they're in second position, running pretty much side by side along with Stefan and Devon down the back of the field. Were running side by side, but they didn't get the job done through there. Volokongan, though, in second, doing a very good job. Did say, watch out for him at your peril. Listen to me sometimes.
Yeah, he's going to drop a lot. That 3-second penalty, though. He's going to have to try and get that one removed. That's going to cost him a little bit of a hassle, but he's running well. And yeah, James Head clearly has clear wheel knowledge, as the cool kids on Twitter would say. Schumacher's ERS, by the way, 76%. Is he even trying at this point? This is looking easy to the end for the Mercedes, and I can't believe we doubted him at first.
Yeah, it's looking a shade dominant, to be honest, I think, from Schumacher at this perspective. By the way, I'm not sure who's done the poll. I think it might have been my co-commentator sitting to the right-hand side of me. Who will win? Schumacher, 59%, Volokongan on 6%, Vasilo on 6%, and other comments, which none of you have, on 29%. And that's saying as well what happened with Steph. Steph qualified very poorly. Qualified, I think there was a 4.5 improvement that he had at the end of the session, but he qualified 19th. He's there at the minute in 13th, so he has worked his way up past a few drivers, past a few that are obviously slower than him, including Yospan and Dark, who've obviously messed up their strategies, especially from Dark's perspective there on a set of hards. And he put himself there basically because he had no pace in qualifying. Nobody to blame but himself. This is the weakness that I think we're seeing in Steph. It is only third round of the season, so obviously take it with a bit of a pinch of salt.
Safety car, James.
Yeah, he also spun the safety car. He spun in the safety car, and he would have been a net second.
Yeah, and that's really unfortunate. And Namsko putting an awful lot of pressure on Facilio, and I think if these two start scrapping, they will disconnect from Volokongan and Schumacher, and that would let those two run clean home. But it's a real Zandvoort DRS train here. No one really going for moves at this point in the race. However, gonna have to try and work something towards the end, because there's a couple of people who won't be happy with their finishing positions, like Stefano, maybe like Steph. They're going to want to get a move on, get a hurry on, and try and make some overtakes.
Yeah, Volokongan, I think, certainly won't be happy with that 3-second penalty, but as I say, he could get removed towards the end of the race, and obviously they're in second. He's doing a good job, but there is a chance that he can actually gap maybe Axie and Nuth out to 3 seconds, and he's got a chance of remaining in the top 5 at least before, if and only if that 3-second penalty, of course, does get removed. And of course, if you're just tuning in to the stream, wondering what happened with that 3-second penalty, he basically got forced over by Futsbab as a late braking move into the chicane of 11 and 12. Volokongan got forced onto the gravel on the inside line. Obviously, he picked up warnings previously on the lap, and therefore that 3-second penalty was validated by the game. Obviously not validated, though, potentially by the stewards. That, of course, will get looked into. I'm sure at the end of the race we will see a very juicy stewards report, I am sure. Volokongan there in towards the end of the race. Vasilo, though, and Namsko are applying pressure into him. It's 4.5 of a second for third and fourth position. Really the closest battle I think we've got at this stage in the race. Certainly Namsko and Vasilo are the closest battle out on track at this stage. But Schumacher, dare I say it, Evan, so far, so good, and looking a shade dominant?
Yeah, I think so. I can't really see anyone challenging him. I think Namsko just wishes this track was a bit wider, because I think he has the pace to challenge him. Of course, there's been 6 changes of this Zandvoort circuit throughout the years. Namsko's hoping for 7 and just wished there was a wider run to turn number 1, because Facilio, he's more ERS as well, so he can defend us. That's Dino leaving the session. Double DNF for Aston Martin. Horrible day. And we'll get for the Aston Martin Cognizant crew. Bit of a move here, though. Stefano is past Fede. Fede just struggling on the hards now, and it's unfortunate because he was running really well.
Yeah, great stuff from Stefano. Ran the outside of that walls of turn number 1, and he's into 10th position. Yeah, into the points, getting that 1 point. And now, Fede there on that set of hards. Do not discount him at all. He's got low ERS, we can very much vouch for that. But he is on that set of hard compound tire, down there in 11th position. Got Steph and Devon pretty much chasing each other and chasing shadows in terms of Noah at this stage. And Steph is actually looking to the inside of turn number 8. Try to get the job done, but honestly, if I was in Devon's shoes, I'd be actually really annoyed at that Haas, who has been literally inside of him for probably the last 3 or 4 laps, as Noah has actually just made a mistake on the grass there and let Devon back through. But if I was
Steph
Devon,
actually made the mistake.
Yes,
Steph ran on the grass there. which was very unusual. It's a weird line, but yeah, I'd agree with you. If I was Devon, I'm furious at this point. Devon, he's not the type of guy to scream and shout at Noah. He's a very, very calm driver, as we said, but yeah, I'd be furious, and it looks like Noah is starting to drop back now, and he's probably very thankful for it.
Well, he was waving there. He was waving, and I think that was more annoyment over Noah being behind. And now Noah just lets through Stefan towards turn 1. I don't really get this plan, to be honest. He's a lap car. He should be getting out of the way of everyone else. And if not, then surely the steward should be disqualifying them from this race. It's just a little bit ridiculous, I think, from that perspective.
Yeah, back in my day, blue flags meant get out of the way. Obviously don't nowadays, but that's unfortunate. Noah, he's not listened to them, and he's lap car. It's not like he's even trying to unlap himself. He's down with the cars in 12th and 13th and 14th, and yeah, it's oh well, what can you do? He's out of the way now for Devon, which is lucky for him.
Lucky for him, indeed. I think Noah, though, could argue, if there is a steward report put in, he could argue that he was on the pace with Steph and Devon, which is fair enough. He was on the pace with Devon and Steph, and they're all on the same strategies, which is fair enough as well. So it is a little bit 50-50, two-way sort of standard sort of thing between them both. What I can say, though, is Namska was still on the back of Vasilo, still in this big old DRS train. I'm sorry that we can't bring you much action because there's frankly nothing happening at this stage. In towards turn number 1 at Tarzan onto lap 30. Namska sets the fastest lap of the race out of everyone. And now Gap's Ference cycle 8/10 of a second down in towards turn number 1. And Ference there struggling. He's pretty much got around half the amount of Namsko's ERS at this stage. 51% for Ference, 65% for Namsko at this stage, so even my maths has dumbfounded me a little bit. I am 25 after all. Schumacher leads the way, Paula Congan in second, Vasilo in third, Namsko in fourth, Ference there in fifth position. The Schumacher still leads the way, but Paula Congan for the first time applying a bit of pressure.
Yeah, Namsko, he's a bit of a late charger as well. We saw it last week in Bahrain. I've certainly seen it over the years. So just expect a bit of a charge from Mollikongan starting to pressure Schumacher. Those tyres on Schumacher's car are not going to be nice. That's another thing. He's got much older tyres than the rest of the field. Yes, pace might be better. His battery is certainly unbelievable with 94. But his tyres are not going to be too nice here. And it could be an interesting end to the Grand Prix as he's heading up to the banking. And a fun fact, that banking is steeper than the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Hence why it gets very slippy in the wet conditions, because of course in Indianapolis they don't run in the wet. That's a rule in IndyCar, certainly. You don't run the Indy 500 in wet. Hence why these cars get very, very slippy through there.
Yeah, and we certainly saw that, of course, in the early stages of the race where people were just spinning left, right and centre, coming through Arie Luyendyk at turn number 14, that is, on this track. It used to be turn 15 on the old minimap until, of course, they pretty much jointed the banking into just one corner instead of the two. That was in 2021 track map. But Schumacher leads the way, Volokongan there in second, Vasilo there in third. Still blue flags, by the way, for Noah. He's not around anyone at this stage. He has got Justbrand in behind, and obviously Dark has dropped off the back, so I don't really see what the plan is potentially. If there is a plan there from the VIR boys, I don't really see why it's going to work. But then again, they're both at the back of the field, and they could just work for each other's strengths. But at this moment, they're not, because they're nowhere near each other.
And Dark doesn't have the pace or the tyres to catch up to Justbrand, so it's not going to work here, unfortunately. And Noah has gone behind Justbrand. Justbrand's used a bit of his battery to get past him, so that says enough there. And he's picked up a time penalty. Fair play to Noah for still continuing on. However, he's been a bit of more of a hindrance to some of the drivers. That's what they'll see it as. Steph still stuck behind Devon in that battle that we were talking about earlier with Noah involved. However, Ron is looking for a bit of a move. Don't think I've actually said Ron's name today. Is the driver behind a Footspab. Sets the fastest lap. Steph beats it. Okay, that's interesting. We're pushing for fastest laps now. It's a stage of the race I like.
Yeah, an underdog performance actually from Ron there in 8th position. Of course, qualified way down the... No, actually not way down the field. Qualified 9th. And now he's going to get 7th because Nuth just made a mistake coming up the hill in towards Skyflack at turn number 7. Not around the outside of Skyflack, please. Ron around the outside. Beautiful stuff. The McLaren takes advantage of that mistake from the German. Ron through and he's into 7th. Nuth there in 8th. Footspab in 9th. How do you like them apples?
That is
Footspab!
Footspab trying it up the inside and Nuth just as I was meant to talk, and it's not worked out for him. And now Stefano's on the back, and this DRS train exploding. There's a yellow flag. Oh, would you look who it is? Who's crashed out of the race? Oh, big crash! Justbrand and Steph. Both Alpines have made contact, and James, the safety car has been brought out here on lap 32. both Alpines making contact. Not for the first time in 2022 we've seen those two cars go into each other. This has just turned on its head. This is an interesting end to the race.
And it's a 5-second penalty for Juspan as well as a result of that collision with Steph. Was busy looking at Noah. Noah had spun underneath the safety car, coming through turn number 9, or just before, and that's why the safety cars obviously came out. Is anybody going to come in the pit lane? Yes, Fetty is into the pit lane. This is, I guarantee it, for a set of soft compounder tyre right to the end of the race. They're going to be very quick at the end. Everyone behind them's pitting in as well because of various amounts of damage. But Fetty, set of soft compounder tyres. If he has got the strategy call right, which I don't think he has, I think he'd be absolutely flying through the field if it wasn't the case. Dark there on a set of softs, Ari's on a set of softs, Justran getting his front wing change, he's also on a set of soft compounder tyre. But surely, Evan, they've got way too much work to do down in 13, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, they do if they want to win. However, Fetty wasn't scoring points, hasn't lost anything by pitting. Actually, he's lost a spot to Steph, whose front wing is laying on the exit of turn 11, I'm pretty sure. He went into his teammate. Seems to visually be okay, but he definitely went into the side of his teammate's car. Fetty's only lost one spot, was on an old set of hard. Wasn't going to go anywhere if he stayed out. Worth the risk, in my opinion, for some points. He can definitely pick up some positions if there's some collisions. For the top guys, they'd all have to pit if any of them were to benefit from it. So it's a good call. However, Schumacher's tyres are not going to be feeling too nice, but this will save them a little bit.
Yeah, definitely so. Indeed, Schumacher leads the way. Volakongan there in second, Vasilov there in third. George Morgan, by the way, has just taken to Twitter. Well, we've got a little bit of off time between the final couple of laps of this race.
Oh no, it's never good.
George Morgan has just taken to Twitter and said, looking for an F1 Leagues racing. Any recommendations, folks? PSGL, gotta be.
I think he'd know about PSGL, wouldn't you? You would think he'd know about it, but hasn't. As George Morgan, of course, if you are new to PSGL, George Morgan is he's kind of an inspiration for the PSGL commentators. He used to commentate the PSGL PC F1 tier, and now he's commentating on GT Open, GT Formula. I think that's the official name for F1 Esports as well. And if you don't know George, then where have you been?
Yeah, where have you been indeed? And I guarantee that you're going to be taken, well, probably to the PSF1 stream first and foremost, which is the most important stream, of course, on PSGL here tonight, Boros. Schumacher leads the way, Volakongan in second, Vasilov there in third. Who will win? Poll, by the way, is now... is it closed? Have you already closed it? Yes, you have.
Have you closed it? No, it's still there.
It's still there. Why have I... I don't want to put somebody in timeout. Dismiss poll. Why can't I put somebody... Why can't I close the poll
Would you like to
down?
end the poll, James? Would you like me to end the poll?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
There's the poll. The old man's forgotten how to use his computer.
No, I'm on the iPad. I can't get it up because obviously the stream had like my OBS.
You have to be on a PC.
Yeah. Terrible. Terrible. I am a moderator though, so I should have been able to do it. I had the option a little bit early on to do it, but anyways, that is our poll discussion over and done with. Safety car now is in this lap, and Schumacher now the virtual Bermander. He's now in the virtual safety car. His tyres actually have been really helped, I think, with the safety car period, and we're only going to get 2 laps of racing right to the checkered flag. So, in my coined phrase now on PSGL, welcome everyone to the Wacky Races.
Welcome everybody. This is going to be a titanic end to what's been a very, very interesting Grand Prix. It's not been that interesting for the last few laps, but it certainly has been interesting. The Zandvoort town with a population of 17,000, all 17,000 might go at war, depending on what happens here at the end. Schumacher has gone.
Volakongan's reacted really quick to that though when he's on the back of him down in towards Tarzan at turn 1, and look at the speed of Farrens as well in the background, and Nam's going towards turn 1. They all run line astern in towards turn number 1, and nobody apart from Fetty getting the move done. So Fetty Thuni's into 12. Apart from that, everyone clean through. Schumacher leads the way. Volakongan in second. Vasilov there in third. In towards Hugenholz. The Steph has made a mistake coming behind, and now Dark is through into 13. Devon down the inside line of Stefano, not Devan, I was going to say there. Schumacher leads the way. Volakongan in second. Vasilov in third. In towards Skyflack again. And Volakongan right on the back. If he hasn't got that 3-second penalty over Oxenham. Fetty in the background, I think there's crashing. There's a front wing certainly flying in the background, I saw there. Schumacher, Volakongan, Vasilov top 3. What happened with Fetty?
Oh, he was got up the inside of Devon, completely lost it, but went into each other. A horrible crash, but thankfully it's the driver who caused it that's been hurt most, and Devon is still in the race.
Yeah, down in P16 now. Fetty from obviously P12. He got passed on Steph, got passed on Dark as well, and obviously was in the fight potentially for points, but now he's not. Schumacher leads the way and has got no DRS, either as anyone, to the checkered flag. So this is now Schumacher's race to lose, you would imagine. Volakongan round the final corner. Looks like he's got very good straight line speed, to be honest, and now the hat is coming at him down in towards turn 1 at Tarzan. Schumacher leads. Ron has been disqualified from the session for failing to use the required tyre compounds. Ron has been disqualified all the way down. He was in the points. He's been disqualified. The game has let him down, I think, there. Schumacher leads the way. Volakongan in second. And now coming up towards Skyfleck for the final time. Stefano, I think, has spun. Coming as well out of turn number 3. So Stefano round. Vasilo right on the back of Volakongan. Not going to get the job done up the hill. Everyone running line astern. And Schumacher, I think, is going to hold on to this one.
That's awful for Rob. That is terrible because they can't even give him the position. Which, Vasily looked at the inside. I think that's what we're both reacting at there. I think we'll focus on Ron's after the race because this could be feisty down towards turn number 11.
It could. Vasilo tries to get the outside line though, down in towards Audi S-Box at turn number 11 and 12. He's not close enough though, 0.2 of a second. He's going to have to try and send it, lick the stamp and send in towards turn 13 and maybe in towards Ari Lundberg at turn 14. Now he's just picked up a penalty at the back of the field. Fetty, by the way, has got the job done on Stefano, but Schumacher round the final corner with a hint of dominance by him. The now two-time race winner here in PSGL F2. Schumacher now on the run to the line, wins in the Netherlands from Fusilo in second, Namsko there in third, Ference in fourth. In the end, Volakongan dropping all the way down to seventh. An absolute disaster from him, but if he gets that 3-second penalty removed, he will be on the podium and he will finish, of course, in second position. Fusilo there in second, Namsko in third, the two underrated underdogs, I think, over tonight's racing. Great stuff to see a Williams on a podium as well for now. Vasile there in second, of course. But a great race from Schumacher. 2 wins in a row. Steph takes throw of the day, awarded by the in-game fans, but Schumacher does take the race win and is now, Evan, I believe, championship leader.
Yeah, believe so. That was a very, very good race. I think the start of it was a little bit better than the end. Very chaotic in the wet conditions, but yeah, great race. Horrible for Ron, by the way, because he did comply with the rules. It was a wet race, meaning he went on the wets and the inters and changed to mediums. So awful there for Ron, and he's going to be heartbroken. But it's a Mercedes 1-3 in Zandvoort.
Yeah, well, he didn't use the required tyre compounds, unfortunately, for Ron. Obviously, with that being a wet race, only going on set of mediums in the game, unfortunately, we thought
no,
was
he
a bit...
does. You don't have to. You don't have to use both if it's a wet race. You don't have to. You only have to use a dry and a wet compound.
Interesting. So Ron, I think, has been done dirty there with the game, but Schumacher hasn't. He's on top of the step of the podium. A second win of the season. Dan Spreen saying in the comment section there as well. Schumacher to F1. We saw this with Ray at this point of the season. Maybe Schumacher the German. Well. Yeah, maybe Schumacher the German is going to follow him as well. But Schumacher wins. Vasilo, though, 12th on the grid up to second. Finally seen what his pace is all about. Namsko exactly the same there in third. Drove well, obviously, from the top step of the on the top step, of course, going into the race, finishing, of course, P1 in qualifying. Ference there in fourth, with Axie there in fifth, Nuth there in sixth. Volakongan, if that 3-second penalty removed, he's second. If not, he's down in seventh. Dark there in eighth only, even in Ari's top 10. Those are the point score finishes at the moment. Futzbab, Steph, Fetty, Stefano, Justran top 15. And they were the only ones that finished because Noah, Dino, Zapata, Mitchie and Ron all DNF'd, or in the case of Ron, got done dirty by the game. Unfortunately for Ron, he got disqualified out of the race, which is very much wholly unfair.
Yeah, it's awful unfortunate for Ron. I don't know if you can hear me because I was lagging.
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, more good. Thank God, because it's been a bit sketchy all evening. But yeah, it was a bit of a crazy race. There was a couple of results there which some people might see as undeserved or they deserve more, and I think that's how those races go. It was a hectic start, and it really shows what happens when you put a bunch of league racers on an icy Dutch circuit.
Yeah, definitely. So, and that icy Dutch circuit, I think, really came back. And if it is, then yeah, we're going to just have to deal with it. There we go. I think I'm back now. You can probably see me as well. Mr. Evan Dalton, are we going to try and get the top 3 in, or are we going to watch Portugal, Uruguay?
I'll have a go. I'm usually terrible at this, going by last season. But I'll try and have a go. We'll try and get them in for interviews and see what we can do. It was hectic race. There's a lot of unhappy people actually in the chats. We usually do a bit of a chat review, and Steph's not happy with the VIR boys. Of course, it was Schumacher, and then second place was who came second, James?
Fasino.
Facilo. I don't know why I thought Ference. I was correct with the F, I suppose. And then, of course, third was Namsco for Mercedes. And Mercedes, a dominant team once again in PSGL F2. They were last season, but then one of their drivers got booted up the tiers.
Yeah, definitely so. And of course, that man was Ray, who is, I think, partaking in F1 tonight in the Netherlands. And I am just going to tune into the stream and
We're
say
going to have
that.
Facilio join us.
Oh, wow. We're going to have Facilo joining us. That's good.
We will.
And Marlon is on pole for F1.
F1 looking like a good race then as well. So make sure you join that as well if you want to watch. If you want to wait for some interviews, feel free, and we will get them in quickly. But yeah, looking like a good race in PSGL F1. Of course, that's our top PS tier. Whether it's as hectic as the feeder series, I suppose you could say here. Well, we'll have to find out in a few moments' time.
We will have to find out. Indeed, the race, yeah, is about to begin for PSGL F1. I can't believe they're actually at the end of qualifying. They're normally a little bit ahead, but I think they got started all on time. So F1 is going live very soon indeed, once again, for the race, which, if you're not tuning in, like 50 of you are at this stage, not to us, but to them, for F2, for F1, not for F2, for F1, then it is overcast conditions and it's a dry start to the race, which I think is more important than, of course, the absolute wetness that we got out on track. David Coulthard certainly will be happy with the conditions that that we had in that. Hopefully, though, we can get to speak to Facilo. Looking through the Discord, by the way, Facilo has now managed to join us there in the
I can
waiting
bring
room.
him in. No Schumacher, unfortunately, but I'll drop in Facilo just about now.
Oh, I've already dropped him in, I think.
Well, we both did at the same time.
Both did at the same time. That's what we like to see, though. Facilo, first and foremost, can you hear us? I hope he can. That pause means probably not. I wonder
Hello,
if
Facilo? Oh, he's on mute. Is there something I have to do about that? I don't think so.
No, he was unmuting and muting himself, I think. So I think he can't hear us. We can't hear him. So maybe actually going into the waiting room is probably the better idea.
Oh, maybe. Hold on a second. I'll try drag us in.
Lovely jubbly. And there we go. Just like that. Facilo, can you hear us now? Judging by typing, yeah, he can't hear us.
No, that's unfortunate. He said he can't hear us. He's typed in he can't hear us. So that'll be the end of the interviews, unfortunately.
Now, he's joined again. We'll try once more. Facilo, can you hear us? No, unless I'll leave and see if I can pick him up. Right, Facilo, there we go. I've now left. Can you hear us again? Nah, it's not working, is it?
No, it's not going to work. We're playing a losing game here, I think.
We are indeed. He is typing in the chat, by the way, in the Discord. Hopefully we're still up. Facilo doesn't have the permission to speak, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Really
I'm not
strange.
too sure if there's anything we can do about that. No, you need a certain permission to talk, but seemingly, yeah, no, he doesn't. That's not going to work, unfortunately, this evening. I don't think.
No, unfortunately, no. It's obviously a pleasure if we were to speak to Facilo, but I think I will say this now: if obviously he can't hear us, but Facilo can go and enjoy his evening, and I'm sure he'd want to enjoy it after that race as well. Namaya, by the way, now leading the way from Marlon there in second, Tom there in third in F1 as it stands. I am watching the live stream there. Big thank you though to Facilo for trying at least to get us an interview here tonight. Obviously, we can't hear him, which is unfortunate, but at least you can hear us still. That is the main thing. And Tom attacking Marlon in towards turn number 1 on F1. Just about getting the job done through Tarzan at turn number 1. I am commentating while trying to conduct an interview here as well. But Tom doesn't get the job done. Oh, and he rear-ends him into the back and towards Hugenholtz. Yeah.
James loves commentating so much, he's doing PSF1 commentary on the PSF2 stream. I'm sure Jess Games will be delighted with you, James.
She'll be over the moon. I'm sure Connor will be over the moon. They're gonna both have my head, I think, quite literally at the end of this live stream. But I think what we will do is have a look at the calendar, of course. And next week, Mr. Evan Dalton, we are in for an absolute treat because, oh Canada, we're going to Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix.
Oh, Canada. What a country. Not did so well at the World Cup. However, we do expect a fantastic race there. I like Canada as a track. I remember back in the day doing full qualifying sessions on F1 2013 and the PS3. It was a fantastic time of life. Canada's a great circuit. I think we'll get some good racing, and it should be an interesting one.
It should be an interesting one indeed. So yeah, the calendar to come before Christmas at least. It is Canada for round number 4. None of our birthdays next week, I can say for sure. Monaco there for round 5, and then Silverstone we go home for round number 6 before Christmas, of course, and that is on the 19th of December. So get that marked down. Literally on Christmas week, we are in Silverstone, and then my favourite track for tomorrow after Christmas, Belgium for round 8, Australia for round 9, then United States for round 10 in Austin, and then ending off the season once again in Abu Dhabi, which shall be fascinating, of course, out on track once again. But a big thank you, of course, to Mr. Evan Dalton for joining me in the commentary box. Good to get the new audio, by the way, working, and it works successfully well, which I'm very glad to report. And hopefully you enjoyed the stream. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. We, of course, are going to be back next week in Canada for round number 4 of the championship in season 32 of PSGL. And from our sponsors, of course, GT Omega, who I don't think we've actually mentioned tonight at all until this point here. GT Omega, you can use the code PSGL 5% off at checkout on their website. All of the details, of course, are in the description along with the socials, of course, for PSGL, and you can catch us all on there. Thank you so much, though, for watching here tonight. We're going to take you to our final ending trailer and indeed our advert from GT Omega. But a big thank you from myself and Mr. Evan Dalton. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
This broadcast was brought to you by GT Omega, proudly supporting PSGL.